And so Brent Blazer with the Office of Emergency Services of Mendocino County would be next on the agenda. You have a report, Brent?
Yeah, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
All right.
Let me just make a quick note. I seem to have left out the Department of Planning and Building on this list. So with that, we'll insert it next. Go ahead, Mr. Blazer.
Oh, thank you. So really what we have right now, of course, the infrastructure upgrades for the county and such. But the only thing I really wanted to bring up was for a while now, with the PSPS, there was some legislative actions they were looking at doing for hardening of the cell towers, right? So making sure they had a minimal standards of how much energy or power backups they were able to support, whether 72 hours, whatever it might be. That kind of fell off the, I believe it's CPUC's agenda. And so I've kind of reached out, Marin reached out, and they're trying to get that put back on as part of all these sustainment type projects or policy changes with PSPS. So I kind of linked that in with the supervisor hashtag, and hopefully they can kind of move that project forward again, or start looking at getting that put back on. Other than that, I really don't have much. I would just recommend that I do work with the BAMC, so they do a lot of the AT&T implementation and such. If our group would like to become a partner with them also, there's a lot of great updates that they get through AT&T and the broadband efforts that they're doing throughout the Bay Area. So I just wanted to offer that if we want to talk about it offline, but thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And yes,
so
we
now,
want a partner. We want to hear more about the Bay Area broadband stuff, but we'll get a hold of you, Brent. Thank you.
and though it's not listed, if Brent Schultz has comments, we would appreciate it.
Hi, Jeff, and hi, everybody. This is Brent Schultz, the Planning and Building Services Director. We are in planning, as a lot of you know, we support Tom West and the consultants that are working on the grant applications. We got the contracts done so that we could fund them to get the applications done. And Tom's working real hard in his consultant group on that. On the cell towers, we're dealing with all that. What Supervisor Hashik and Williams said about the projects there. We have been working diligently with US Cellular, AT&T, where we can support them, where they comply with our wireless ordinance, get those projects done. We have a team in planning, even with our reduced staffing. We have a small team that's trying to hustle those up and get them in if they comply with our ordinance. And that process is going pretty well. We've gotten some ones done and through the process, but we got more coming. And so we're very busy with that. Other than that, I'm here to answer any questions about what we're doing. I probably missed something.
You had indicated that there are cell towers at the Planning Commission level in the coming weeks.
Oh yeah, Ted Williams brought that up. Yes, we do have, we do have more coming. I think I've got 2 coming on the 17th. We get lots of letters against them. Don't get many letters supporting them. And there's a lot of concern by people about the perceived negative or real effects of radiation from them, and that's a lot of the concerns on them. Although every one I've seen so far has the scientific studies that shows there's no impact, but however, there's a lot of people concerned about that in our county. But we continue to process them and go through and apply our wireless ordinance. And I concur with Ted or Supervisor Williams' comments. I think the county needs a mission statement that the board puts out, an objective of what we're going to do on broadband and on these cell towers or on Starlink or whatever that is, where we shall be going. But I would tell you, these cell tower applications are not an easy process to get through. Especially we have to apply our CEQA standards and make findings. And so they take a while for our planners to get through the process. Amongst all the other things we're doing, Jeff, we have 4,000 permits coming through the door. That's not letting up. We have, the ag industry, all our industry groups need permits, and we're hustling as fast as we can to do those as well.
Brent, as a planning director, do you think there's opportunities to streamline our process to reduce the time? And because I know some other counties use more administrative permitting style for cell towers.
Yeah, I think so, Ted. I think we should look at it because our county is just so big, 3 times the size of Rhode Island. Right? Unless Starlink's in this beta process, what else do we have to link up people? This is a public safety issue, in my opinion. This is a health and safety issue. These people we can't contact, our sheriff can't contact them. They can't connect up to the schools. They can't do their business. This is a major issue. So, it sounds like I'm Ted, the advocate for cell towers, but I don't know what other technology to go to. I could use a few more planners to help people process and get through the, as we've been down 4 planners. We're hiring right now. We're trying to hire those positions back, but that hurt us when we lost those people when they resigned. So our business in planning and building is really, it just takes people's hands and computer keyboard strokes and taking in things. And it's, we have labor hours we need too, and human assets we need to get things done. And and these cell towers are not simple. They're hard to, as you know, Ted, they're hard to find the sites for even AT&T and US Cellular. But I agree with you on, we should look at our, I understand it was updated in 2015 and it was made, my understanding was simpler, but I think we should take a look at it when we get a breath of air. We should, look at some of these other counties, see how they're doing it.
Brent, Jim Moorhead, regarding the negative letters that you're getting on the cell tower applications, it's a 2-part question, I guess. First part is, are they effective? Are they slowing the process down or maybe even stopping the process? And 2, would it be useful if there were more positive letters coming in? And is that might be something that the Broadband Alliance could get involved with to try to generate some public interest in writing letters?
Yeah, I definitely do believe more positive letters on these would be helpful. And yes, I do believe the opposition to these is slowing them down. And so and it's just a public process. Whenever you got to go through a use permit, it opens it up and you have, it's transparent and you do the public meetings and you take and it takes time to really, for the commissions and our board they need to review all that. So it just takes time and it does slow it down. And, but I do understand, their concern. I don't want to just wave that off. I do understand their concerns about them, but on the other side, I think, one of the, commitments that you make in public services, the health and safety, that's our primary objective. And whether you work for a city or county, whether it's a health order or a fire or some other emergency, or, how do we get a hold of people to tell them get out, or organize our fire and safety personnel to get in there and help people? That's my big concern. I brought it up at a board meeting or at a commission meeting. And so that's my big concern is what are we doing to help the technology we have get in there? Is if they have the grants and they have the funding and it's going to do FirstNet and connect up our fire and safety, how can we do that quicker? So
if the letters had some emphasis on health and safety, that would probably make them even more powerful.
Well, yeah. And the Pine Mountain, that one that had I think 130 or 150 people objecting to it, it had a group too for it. But it was interesting, there was a letter in there from the sheriff and a letter from the fire district for it. And that was like not even hardly discussed. that the sheriff was supportive and the fire district was supportive of it.
Brent, when a carrier shows up and wants to deploy broadband using wireless, how long does it take to get through the permitting process from the day they begin?
Oh, if we're cooking, Ted,
Yeah.
6 months to a year for really cooking.
Oh.
It's just it's quite a process. And think about it, Ted. Before they come to us, they got to sign a lease with somebody and find a site that's got the road, that's got access, that's in the right topographic region. They got to do those heat studies. You and I have talked, Ted. I wish we had a real estate division. We could help somehow to do those heat studies and go, oh, here's the perfect spot, and go get those sites for these. And I mean, unless StarNet works, right, Ted? I don't know what other technology we have other than those cell towers so that people can connect.
Point.
But my understanding, Ted, too, is I talked to other directors, they're all having the same problems. There's a lot of people just don't want them. They're worried about radiation. They don't like the FCC Act that gives authority for us to approve those unless there's radiation or EMFs, so they don't like that. They don't think it's valid science. And
Well, thank you, Director Schultz. Thank you very much. And
Sorry
I see
for
that we
talking to you.
have any questions for Brent? Any additional questions?